Hey guys, in this video I'm going to talk about when I lived in Ibiza, Spain, which is an island just off the coast of Barcelona in the Mediterranean, and it's known for being a party island, like the party island of Europe. And I lived there for 2 years, and in the second year I became homeless there. The only time I've ever been homeless, okay? And I have some interesting stories to do that I want to tell you about that, okay? So to get right to it, first of all, I'll tell you what brought me to Ibiza, Spain, which was my sister was working there. We went on a family vacation, and my family's like, look, if you can get a job here, you can stay here too, because they're like us, both in the same place. So essentially what it was like finding a job there for nightclubs was like a reality TV show auditions and things, and I got one. So I got into the promotions side of things, which was promoting a nightclub. Okay, I won't name the exact nightclub because I don't want some negativity coming back on me when people. But there's big ass nightclub there. Okay, so the first year I worked there for that, I made really good connections. I made connections with top DJs. Again, I won't mention his name, but I'm really good friends. I was good friends with him, and he was just being introduced to that island at that time. And by the second year, he was like top, and he's still top. He's still like ridiculously. Anyway, so I helped promote their night. Okay, there's different nights for not just the DJs, but their essentially promotions in itself, like their label. So I did that for the first year. Really cool. I won't get into all the details of that because I want to get into the details of when I was homeless, which was the second year. So in the second year, by that time I was a photographer more. So I got a photography gig but as well dealing with promotions again. So it was a combination of a few things. It was ticket sales on the beach. I would walk along the beach and sell tickets to people for the shows at a discounted price than if they were just to show up at the door. So there was a bit of an incentive for them to come to me. As well, I was doing the photography on boat parties and in nightclubs in itself. Again, the same one that I was working the previous year, but as well other ones. And third, I was selling drugs. What drugs? It was MDMA, it was cocaine, it was ketamine, and I was doing all three myself. And essentially how that worked, because this is an integral part of the story, which was I was a hustler, a street hustler, but I couldn't just sell it anywhere, okay? What I had to do was entice people to come into our bar that we ran, where we sold the tickets from, give them a free drink. Hey, want to come for a free drink and things? Sure. Who's going to deny a free drink, right? Sangria, a beer, whatever you want. I'll give you a free drink. You sure? There's no catch this? No, there's no catch. Come in for a free drink. Okay. Well, sit them down and try to sell them tickets, but I also want to sell them other shit. Like, you got all your party favors sorted out. You got all your party things sorted for this thing, right? Code word for it, you got your drugs. A lot of them didn't. A lot of them didn't know where to get it from, or like a safe place. Well, if I brought them into the umbrella of the club I was working, then we had a deal with the police where the police would not bother you. You could sell as much drugs as you want if you're inside your establishment. If you're out on the beach or whatever else, that's a bit of a different story. You go to jail for 2 years, potentially. And random searches, like there, it's like they don't need a reason to search you, like in my country, they'll just search whoever or whatever time. So you don't want to be like selling out there. And I know people personally who got caught for that and paid a price for that. So anyway, I brought people in and sold them drugs. That was kind of my main gig. That's where I was making a lot of money. But I also sold them tickets, and I was also doing photography. And yeah. So when I got in the second year, I was living with this French guy. He was a pretty popular DJ. The place I lived, it was a full-on record studio, probably 15 to 20 grand worth of music equipment, synthesizers and mixer boards and computers, like the whole deal. Okay, he's a producer and DJ, and through him I made some good connections. The thing is though, his French business partner David wanted to move in with him, so essentially one day out of nowhere I got the boot because David wanted to come in and take my spot. Right? Even though I was paying money and everything, it was just like I was working hard. It was just like one day I didn't have a place to live. What the fuck? And Ibiza's kind of like a hard place to find a place to live. Like, you either have to commit for a long time and like in a nice, like my first year I lived there, I lived in a really nice place. I don't know if you know where the area well, but like by the hospital, very beautiful apartment and things. But I had to commit to like many months to that. Okay, the second year I didn't have that, so I was out on the streets at this point. Couldn't, I don't know. I kind of got fucking shafted pretty hard actually by him on that regard. Just like instantaneously, you have nowhere to live, and I'm from Canada. I'm in a foreign country in a little island in the middle of nowhere, but. And I was making okay money, but I was like getting by. You know what I mean? I was just getting by. So essentially, I didn't have a place to live. So what did I do? Well, the place I worked at had a locker, so that's where I kept my essentials. Okay, and like changes of clothes and things. I worked on the beach all day from about 11 in the morning till about 6 at night. And then I worked at night sometimes, or I partied at night sometimes too. And then I slept on the beach. So I was living beach fucking life. And I got brown as hell. Like, people thought I was Spanish. I don't look Spanish, but it was like, I was so brown because it doesn't rain or it's not cloudy there ever. It was like sunny, 90 degrees every day there. And I was outside every day, cooking out there. Just brown anyway, and but I was still doing my thing, hustling and things, and I figured out how to survive, and part of that was through drug dealing. Okay? Big part of it, and but there's a lot of challenges that I faced while doing so, and I'll say one, which was sometimes you step on other people's toes a little bit doing hustling, which is you go outside of your territory, to put it simply, and that happened a few times. I'll say one at least right now because I only have so much time. So I went to a nightclub, and I had no intention of stepping on anybody's toes. I was just there having a drink before I was going to the bar. You get some drinks before you go into the club where the drinks are going to be way more expensive. So I was like pounding a few, pints and drinking some yerbas, which is the local liquor there. And some guy was asking me what I do. I said I sell shit. Exactly. What I do? Everything. I sell shit, drugs. Well, he told the guy, I knew personally, like the owner and the bouncers of this place, the bar I was in, that I was in there trying to sell drugs in the fucking place. That is a huge no-no. Huge no-no. Well, I got pulled aside real quick, and they knew who I was. So the owner, this little short guy actually, was there. He's fucking looking at me like, fucking this. And then a bunch of other guys around me who I didn't know, and then the one guy who I did know, who this is a place I actually bought hash from a lot. Like, you go there, you sit down with a beer, like, yeah, I want to buy some hash. Okay, bring a block of Moroccan hash to you. But these guys were like, we're gonna fucking kick your head in right now. You're trying to sell shit in the club right now. Do you understand what the fuck you're doing? I'm like, dude, man, I've been here for 2 years. I've been doing this for 2 years. Trust me, whoever fucking told you shit is bullshit. That's not my intention at all. And he knows me. I pointed to my friend. The guy knows me. He knows me that I'm not this type of guy. You vouch for me, right? Well, he turned to his boss and kind of gave him the nod. And the boss kind of gave everybody else the nod, and they all kind of dispersed. I just about got fucking curb stomped, I think. Because that is a huge no-no. Now, this happened a few times. And it was very dicey, and it made me rethink things about what the hell am I doing, right? And maybe also there was huge risk with police there doing that shit. Even though I was not dealing on the streets, I was dealing with my club, which was big partnership with the police. Trust me, police would not touch this club at all. That what I was doing. But I should mention, so that was that whole side of things. Okay. I should mention like how I actually lived, which I mentioned. I think I mentioned a little bit before, which was I had a locker at my um, at my work, so that's where I kept all my essentials and locked my shit up. Now, where I slept was a combination of a few places, mostly on the beach though, and the beach was a most beautiful sleep you can imagine. Waves crashing around you. You had to. I set up like a blanket and everything, in a private area. It was just like it was actually paradise doing that. Like it was the best of times and it was the worst of times. I would call it. And the best of times it was, man, it was pristine location, but it was also kind of shit. Like it was something that kind of wore on me hardcore. And this was a time where, remember that song by I don't know who the fuck sing it, Usher, for all bags. Want to get lucky, times to get lucky. I would just hear that song over and over and over, and it was just like wearing me down. And there's just too much party people. There's just too much party, and I'm just like, I need to get the fuck out of here. And I eventually moved back to Canada. But what there was some good situations on that, and again, this is I was homeless for about 4 months doing this. Some good situations where my goal was to actually just meet chicks, and it forced me to meet chicks. And at this time where I wasn't the best with women, to be honest, like this is 12 years ago, but this made me kind of good with women because it was a matter of survival almost, where I just wanted a place to stay sometimes. I swear. I'd meet chicks and hook up with them and then stay at their hotels and shit like that. That's what I was doing. And I had VIP passes to all the major nightclubs, so I'd just go party and meet chicks and go back home with them. That's what I did for 4 months, a lot of the time. Now, this also led me to some other good situations where I literally hooked up with supermodels. I'm not joking, because I had the VIP to the clubs because I worked for the promotions of the clubs. And that's the only reason why I was able to do what I did was because of the connections and network I had, because it was my second year. Like again, I was there for 2 years. This is like the end of the 2 years. My first year I was balling. I was fine. It was just a matter I got screwed by the French guy, and it was not a good situation. So what did I learn from all this? No, it did kind of chisel out, I think, to me, this, I don't even call it resilience or resourcefulness or character. Something just got carved out of me during this time, especially during the whole time I was in Ibiza, but specifically then, because it was just a matter, I was living in a survival mindset. And I never had that before. I actually come from a pretty well-off family. They supported me going through university. I didn't have to pay for anything, college or anything like that. You know what I mean? But they didn't support me to an extent when I was there. Like I was there making ends meet and grinding. And what also kind of wore on me there was the fact that I was doing a significant amount of drugs as well. I wasn't like I was totally gone like a drug addict, but I was like still doing it 2-3 times a week, like ketamine and cocaine, shit like that. And it's not healthy. After that, I kind of learned that hard drugs are not the most healthy thing to do. Yeah, I did it since a few times. I haven't done it in years, but it's like after that, I kind of cooled off of that. Right? And but it also kind of taught me about culture and like being in a place like that, and the music scene, the culture scene. There was a lot of cool thing, like personal growth. That's the only way I can explain it. There's a huge acceleration of personal growth, and this went around when I was around 20, 29 years old. But also dealing with people who were kind of in my same boat, like working in my team. There was a team that I worked with, and some guys specifically. This one guy from Serbia. Me and him were hustled. We hustled together, and I don't want to get into too much into it, but stepping on other people's turf, we did that together. We did it carefully because that's how you actually can make more money. So we're only like designated to a certain area, but we ventured out from that, and that's where we actually got good sales. I don't know what else to say about that. I'm kind of just all over the place talking about this just off the top of my mind, but I don't know if you guys have ever been to Ibiza, Spain. If you guys have, you know what exactly what I'm talking about. In Playa de Mbasa, that's right. I lived in a place called Jesus, and a bike ride there. It was like a half-hour bike ride every day, there and back. Initially, but then I actually lived on the beach in Playa de Mbasa. I don't know if you guys know, like where that pirate outpost is. Like there's a pirate kind of thing just past there. The whole island has these outposts because of pirate invasions and things. So they're pretty landmarks. Anyway, I'll leave it there, guys. If you have any questions about that, let me know. Yeah, it's not something I'm proud of, dealing drugs and shit like that. I don't like that, but it's kind of expected in a place like Ibiza that people do a lot of drugs there, and they go to clubs and things, and they go to these bars that I was a part of, and to get them, right? So, yeah, that's what it was. So I'll leave it there, guys. What do you think? Leave in the comments section below. If you have any questions, again, feel free to ask. Peace.